person, a situation that happened with a gun a few years ago. Let's watch.
Have you seen the body cam video? I was unaware you had.
You know what? It's going to exonerate all the agents. You're completely right. Stephen Miller saying an assassin tried to murder federal agents, and this is your response. And J.D. Vance retweeting it says something about where this administration is and how they're considering it before and after the murder of Alex Preddy. And this will go down in history as a turning point for this. Greg Bovino wouldn't be leaving tomorrow if an innocent person wasn't killed. And the double standards that are being employed for how you have to behave versus how these agents have to behave is mind-boggling to me. Kyle Rittenhouse was a conservative hero, right, for walking into a protest, actually brandishing a weapon. But this guy who had a legal permit to carry and already had his gun removed, to some people, I guess, is some sort of instigator when he was actually going to help a woman who had been pushed down and tear-gassed by ICE. We have the right to protest. That should be upheld and respected, and it is not being. They
Jessica,
were not.
Did you call for?
So Enzo, this was on Fox News. What is your response to what everyone's saying? They kind of are calling him a hero. They're saying he was protecting another woman. What is your response to that?
It's not comparable. Not comparable in the slightest. There's no comparison between Kyle Rittenhouse and Alex Preddy. I don't care what way I don't even know how to explain what kind of brain you have to see any type of parallel, person with gun, so equal, same situation type shit. No, it's not. Kyle Rittenhouse didn't fight with law enforcement. Kyle Rittenhouse didn't get into altercation with law enforcement like Alex Preddy did. There's nothing to compare that to. Kyle Rittenhouse was there defending a storefront, and that's what he did, and he killed fucking two people, one pedophile and then another fucking whatever the fuck the other person was charged with. Alex Preddy over here was trying to be the white knight savior to protect some random woman that's probably a part of the same group chats that they were a part of, to go out there and go harass more ICE agents. One less person to go harass ICE agents. ICE is doing pretty good in my eyes.
Ken, your face is killing me. Stop. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna let Ken go next. This is an ICE agent, and let's see what he had to say to some protesters the other day.
This, brother.
What?
You know, I will tell you this. You raise your voice, I raise your voice.
If I raise my voice, you'll erase my...
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Are you serious? You said if I raise my voice, you'll erase my voice?
Yes.
Okay, so Ken, there was another clip, I can't find it, but basically the ICE agent was telling them, hey, you're out here blowing your whistles, but we are trying to get a pedophile in that house over there. What do you have to say to all of that and your response to Enzo? Because I know
it's interesting. It's the language. So Enzo, Kyle Rittenhouse didn't know if the person was a pedophile. So he wasn't going there for vigilante justice for that. He didn't know that, right? So that was interesting how you framed that. Also,
Great.
Alex wasn't attacking anybody. He's backing up, right? And the way that you're framing this dude, it's 6-on-1. Dude didn't get shot in the chest. Enzo, he got shot.
I don't care. It's not comparable. So hold on. You're leaving out key context. This is what you guys love. This is what people love to do. They love to leave out key evidence, right? So he had an altercation with ICE a week prior. He got up in the face of an ICE agent. I'm sorry, Border Patrol agent. Moments before that happens, put his hands on an officer before the officer sprayed him with OC spray. You're forgetting all of this. Kyle Rittenhouse, yeah, sure, he didn't know that person was a pedophile. That person was attacking him. That's a civilian on civilian crime, not civilian on officer. He got up in the face and he already put his hands on it. He already put his hands on an agent. The precedence has already been set earlier this year. I've been saying it for months. I'm going to keep fucking saying it. The precedence has already been set for people on the left to go out there and harm ICE agents for whatever gain they get out of it.
He didn't commit.
It's already been set.
And he wasn't harming the officers.
He put his hands on an officer. That's assault. That's obstruction. 18 USC 111.
He did not.
You guys are blind. You guys are blind.
Nora, do you have a video that I don't know about? Is there a video of Alex putting his hands on officers?
I mean, we can watch it again. Because
maybe Enzo knows something. Maybe Enzo knows something I don't know. Maybe he's seen something I don't know. Like maybe because he has this thing framed like this dude is the aggressor. You know what I'm saying? And also another thing is, how come everything is tethered to, oh, a person is on the left? What evidence do we have that a person is on the left? They could be a Democrat and not be on the left.
Where else would you be, on Mars?
What do you mean?
You're not hold on. You could be a Democrat but not be on the left. Where are you going to be, on Mars?
A leftist?
Hillary Clinton is not on the left.
Right, a leftist. Enzo, a leftist doesn't make you being a Democrat doesn't make you a leftist. Just like being.
I never said it makes you a leftist.
But no, you're saying. But when you're
throwing the term
the
leftist out there, I'm saying people on the left. So that could be liberals, that could be Democrats, that could be leftists, that could be communists, that could be anything that falls under the left ideology.
But Enzo, the words matter. When the media uses the left, they are speaking of leftists. They're not talking about
speaking of
what
leftists.
about the people
They're
on the
speaking
right
of anybody
condemning
on
it?
the left?
There's people on the right condemning it and standing up for the Second Amendment. What about them? There's a lot.
Sure, they can condemn it all they want. I said it in the beginning with my message earlier today. I want a thorough investigation into this. I want a thorough investigation. Everything that I'm saying is based off of what I've seen and what my opinion is on this. That is up to interpretation and up to change. There's nothing tethering me down saying that I'm going to stand with this altogether. If there's new information that comes out by an investigation that proves what I'm saying is wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong.
Okay, let me see where this dude is a Hulkamaniac and he's clotheslining and leg dropping and rock bottoming people. Let me see.
Also, not including the politician who was starting those chats. That is unethical, but organizing in itself and having.
Let's go back.
Damn, they went to that spray in the face real quick.
Hold on, I gotta back that up. I gotta back that up. We gotta. Let me see. Okay, so he put his hands on him there. He put his hands on his there. Let's watch it again. Let's watch it back. Let's watch it back. Wait, hold on. I gotta back it up more. Wait, shoot. Okay. Sorry, guys. You gotta make it big.
Okay, let me see.
All right, he came over. He knocked the woman down.
Woman got pushed.
Let's
back it up. After the woman went down, he pushed the officer. That's putting hands on an officer.
No, he didn't.
So
he didn't push the officer. His back was turned to the officer. See, there he is.
Nor was it. Right there.
He had his hand up.
He had his hand up.
He had his hands up.
No, he put his hand up after he pushed him.
He's defending a woman.
What authority does he have to defend that woman? What vigilante justice does he have to defend that woman from federal officers?
His soul, his humanitarian soul.
Okay, that's not legality. We want to go to morals,
it's called
sure.
the Good Samaritan, actually. It's overreach and tyranny from the government.
Wait. I got to put a question out there for Enzo and for everybody in the chat. If we saw an officer, an ICE officer, your precious ICE officer, and I love the ICE. Let me be clear. I support ICE. Y'all have me on stream saying that. We saw him raping a woman. Would you have stopped him then? Or would you say, oh, no. Mm-mm.
The crazy hypotheticals. Why don't we do something that's comparable? No. This is why I don't really debate the left with hypotheticals, because it's always crazy. I know you're not, but I'm saying like that's what they do. They throw that crazy hypothetical out there. Why don't we do something more comparable?
I think it's because I think people are trying to gauge what is acceptable. Okay, so that's what there obviously there's little things like we saw, and then there's big things like rape. So we need to figure out as human beings, this moral compass here, what you are willing to accept from a federal officer, right? So you're willing to accept pepper spray. I feel like that's within their right as an officer. Tasing also is within their right as officers. Obviously pushing down for whatever reason clearly is within their right as well. And shooting, people have accepted that. Now, if you see an ICE officer sexually assaulting a woman, would you say, hey, would you stop it? Because
I'm not answering stupid hypotheticals.
Okay, well, this America,
I don't do this with the left. I don't do this with the left. I'm not doing this with you guys. I'm not answering stupid hypotheticals.
I'm going to answer for you because I know in my heart of hearts you would stop it. I understand you have a lot of people in the chat that you can't say yes.
I want something more comparable.
But I understand in my heart of hearts
they pushed the shit out of her. Enzo, they did push the shit out of an unarmed woman. And mind you, ICE agents are working class Americans. I'm for class solidarity. Right? That is a very hard job. These people are not Nazis. I think they're badly trained. I think that incident right there, you have to do extreme mental gymnastics to make it work. And I think I have a problem with people being loyal to their political brand. That shit was wrong. I'm not against.
This has nothing to do with the political party.
Someone's in the chat right now saying, you record and yell stop like a normal human. Tell them they're being recorded. If they're in fight or flight mode, do it with words. Get evidence for a civil rights case. Don't interfere. Dude, and this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with men who would watch a woman get raped and record.
We're there.
That is the kind of man we're dealing with. These are not the men that went to World War II. Clearly, all the good ones must have died because these are the bad ones' grandkids. But you're telling me as a man, as a masculine man, living in your masculinity, that you would allow another person, another man, to sexually assault a woman, and you're going to tell me you're going to take your fucking stupid phone out and record it for evidence? Like, get the fuck out of here. And you wonder why men aren't getting married. This is the answers that you guys give us, and this is why women aren't marrying men anymore.
Yeah, these are the descendants of the draft dodgers.
Crazy, dude. Crazy.
Because just so we're clear, Alex Petty was responding to a woman getting pushed. He was responding. Just because you are law enforcement don't make you righteous. Let's be clear on that shit right here. You being the law does not make you right. A woman was pushed to the ground. Alex Petty came between that. That's what we're talking about. Now, Enzo, I'm not against ICE, bro. I'm against that. That was wrong. I'm not letting none of my female homegirls get pushed. No woman get pushed. I don't give a fuck that you are the law. What does that mean? You're wrong. You're wrong. The law can be wrong.
If we were just talking about a random person just getting pushed by ICE, sure, we would be in agreement. I'm never going to agree on this conversation at all, and this has nothing to do with a political party or anything like that. These people are out there to obstruct, to harass, to interfere. This is what they are going to do. This is what they are doing. We're not talking about some random lady on the street that just got pushed for no reason. I'm specifically talking about this situation here. This and exactly what's going on now today. That's it. This is not for a random person or anything like that.
Okay,
I'm
to your
saying
knowledge,
logically
this woman,
consistent.
what did she interfere with? This specific woman, to your
video
knowledge.
recording.
What they do. Let me be clear. I'm gonna back up Enzo a little bit.
Because what does she do?
They're using whistles and they're getting attention to the people in the area to tell them that the ICE is there. So that is a form of obstruction to ICE's what they're doing. Can't think of the term. Enzo, you probably know it. But to what their operation is.
It's obstruction. It's obstruction. Okay. It's clear as form.
Okay. All right. So
I disagree to that. I disagree that that's obstruction.
Okay. When they're organized in groups and this is what they're doing, running plates to make sure that people are out there the second they get out their vehicles to notify these illegal immigrants that they're in the area to flee. Yes, that's obstruction. That's what they're doing. That's what the group. It's not my point of view, Kim. It's not my point of view. It's literally what I read in their fucking in their signal chats. It's what I read. That is illegal. That's a legal offense. That is 18 USC 111 obstruction.
If they do break the law, then let them be held accountable pursuant to the law. But shot in the back 5 times, that's much. That's a lot much. And also,
I
was
just
just
love
going to
how
say
I
that
just
these
love how, like
people,
I said earlier, we only talk about this situation of Renee Good when there's been 6 other shootings that have happened in the United States that were American citizens, but nobody talks about
Was
them.
it filmed?
Nobody questions anything.
Was it filmed?
well, it's
Yeah,
because it's
they
part of the
were.
discourse. That has nothing to
Can
do
you,
with it.
can
I
you
was just
send
going
it?
to say that, like,
Nobody brings that up. We're only bringing up these situations. I just think it's honestly laughable.
we
That's
can
what I
go
think.
through all of them, but I was just going to say that the people who are out there organizing, they believe in their cause, and there's nothing wrong with that. They think they're helping people. They don't want undocumented immigrants to be deported. There's nothing wrong with that. If they break the law, sure, prosecute them.
Can I say
We
this?
were like, I don't know about that.
Like,
Can I say this? Well, to Enzo's credit, I mean, I think the biggest problem in this entire situation, and the reason that we're in this situation to begin with, is the state of Minnesota is refusing to police. So the police should be out there doing their jobs, and they are not doing their jobs. So the Minnesota has their own, most states have their own, every state has their own constitution, correct? And Minnesota is very articulate. They have to have like 0.0017 amount of law officers per capita for their city. So they should have over 700 officers. They have just under 600. They're massively underfunded. The mayor has underfunded them. I mean, they've set the scene for this to happen. They have passed measures, laws, mandates, ordinance that have set the scene for this, because normally ICE, you wouldn't see what they're doing. Like, you would see them, but you wouldn't see them. So Minneapolis has forced ICE to do this out in public by them not playing legal ball the way they should. I mean, they banned them from parking in like public garages through ordinance. I mean, Minnesota has done absolutely everything they possibly can to set up this state-sanctioned massacre of what we're seeing at this point in time. This chaos. They've set the scene for this chaos. So at the end of the day, I will argue that the government of Minnesota, the state elected officials, do bear a lot of responsibility. And I will say, Seattle residents successfully sued the city and won, because the city has a duty to protect its legal citizens that live there first, above anything else. They have that legal right. And after the Summer of Love, residents in the city of Seattle sued Seattle and won, because they said Seattle was derelict in their duties of protecting the city itself, protecting property, and protecting the citizens. And I think the citizens in Minneapolis should band together and should sue the city of Minneapolis, because they have a very strong case with this precedent, because Minneapolis is not doing what they should be doing. The police are not in the street policing. They are purposely setting this city.
what's that sound?
I don't know, but Doc, go ahead. What were you going to?
I think the people of Minneapolis have band together, but they've band together to believe in the opposite of what you just articulated. These people have decided that that's not what they believe in, and kind of what you're saying is Minneapolis should be pressured by the federal government into turning their police force to their private militia. That's what it sounds like, because that's what the police force is there to serve the people.
Yes.
And it seems like the people of Minneapolis have decided what they would like. So that doesn't align with this. So these people are paid by the people of Minneapolis. These people
and they
should be aligned with the people of Minneapolis, in my opinion. And these people have, by what they're doing, says that this is what they would prefer. So I'm not gonna allow you to say, oh, we've decided we're gonna come here and we're gonna allow you to turn our police force into your private bodyguards, into your private militias. We're here to serve the people of our community. That's what the police are for, and the people of their community. And I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I'm saying that it appears from what we see that this is what the people of that community want. So it would be hard to get them to get behind that and believe that.
I think the problem too is there's not, with these kind of things, there's not a distinction. So I seen some people vandalizing and burning shit, right? So it be crowds overlap with each other, right? So who is a leftist who is down with revolution and system overhaul? Who's that? And then who are concerned residents that have a problem with ICE doing their job, the way they're handling their job? They don't have a problem with ICE. They have a problem with the way that ICE is doing their job. And the issue is distinction, right? Because, all right, during January 6th, everybody that was out there wasn't far right, right? There's no distinction. It's overlap, right? So with this is you don't know who's who. You don't know who's genuinely concerned with the way that they're doing their job is bad, and we want to highlight that, opposed to people that are setting fire to shit. The people setting fire to shit is in the same crowd as just regular concerned citizens that are filming, and the regular concerned citizens that are filming are being called something that they're not. They don't even identify with leftist policies. That's one. Two, you got to be very careful, because some people are coming to work as good people, but if you get in their face and you spit in their face and you call them Nazis and you call them shit, and you can turn a good person into a I don't give a fuck person. Because
but see, I think my problem with this is that, and it goes back to the mask thing. These dudes aren't from here. So when we're saying these people getting doxxed, these dudes are wearing masks. The police don't go out here in masks. So now I'm going in my community to support some no name, no face individuals conduct these raids, and I still have to live here. I'm not leaving. I'm not being reassigned. I'm not going back across the country. I still have to live here. And that can breed resentment for the police force in this community that's supposed to protect this community. So I think they're in a tough position. So I can see why they may not completely support it.
Well, it's not about supporting. It's about these police officers have an oath to protect those citizens, and they're not even in this. They're not doing their jobs. These police are literally not doing their jobs. I have yet to see a video out of all the videos, and I've been there, of any police. If the police would simply even do crowd control of the citizens, I'm not saying hurt them. I'm saying be there as a presence, saying, hey, maybe Renee Good would still be alive. Maybe Alex Peretti would still be alive. We need to think about that. If the police were actually doing their jobs, these are municipal police. These aren't state police that go all over. These are city cops. And if they were actually working their beats and doing their jobs, overseeing these crowds just to protect the people that they supposedly serve, the tax dollars that they utilize to feed groceries to their families, they're not doing that. That's the problem, is these cops are nowhere to be found. They're not doing their jobs. I'm not saying being a private militia. I'm saying they should be on the street overseeing these crowds to make sure their citizens, their neighbors, and their families are safe. But they're not doing that. They are perpetuating this violence. They are setting the scene by not doing their job and protecting their communities and their neighbors and all, like I said, in their families. They are nowhere seen.
To that point, I got to give credit to California, because to Mia's point, we saw California did a good job of dispersing the people in June when they were having those protests. So I kind of see what Mia's saying. They're not doing crowd control, but there are hundreds of thousands of people that have been coming out to protest in Minnesota. And I have one last clip. Nick Sorter had an announcement, something he found out. So let's see. This is the protesters going to get what they want? Let's see.
Is that I've unfortunately been hearing this morning is that Border Patrol agents have now been given new orders not to, for example, if they were to run a license plate and it comes back as that person is an illegal that Border Patrol was forced to let into the country under Joe Biden, they are no longer allowed to arrest that person.
And is this
even
the first
though they know for a fact that they're illegal?
Is this new information that you're just bringing to light right now, that these new orders? Okay. And I don't want you to reveal your sources, but you have someone who you trust on this. You believe this is a matter of actual approach and policy now.
This actually came from two separate Border Patrol agents on the ground in Minnesota. They're very, very frustrated. Obviously, they feel like one of them actually said that this feels like we just reverted to the Biden days.
So all of that, and they're being told that they're just going to let people go. So there's no mass deportation. That's what it sounds like. Enzo, what's your thoughts on what you just heard?
I don't understand why they're doing that. I heard that yesterday. I literally was sat beside myself. I'm like, what the fuck's the point then? It makes no absolute sense at all. So we're just supposed to let these people just run free, or what are we supposed to do? Wait for them to get out of their vehicle and then arrest them? Is that what we're supposed to do? Because technically that's a traffic stop by stopping them and getting them.
I will say in Florida, I don't know what it's like for you in Jersey, Enzo. I've seen a lot of police more than, but I'm hearing the ICE are here. So I'm confused on that order because they're doing tons of, like, they're pulling people over left and right. And from what I'm hearing from people, when they're pulling over, they're running them to see if they're in the ICE, and then they're calling ICE. And I've known people that have been seeing that.
We're about to be a sanctuary state, so ain't none of that gonna happen here. Yeah. Mickey Sherrill's about to, she literally is trying or putting through legislation to make it a sanctuary state. So it's gonna be fun here. It's already overrun. We already got sanctuary cities. We got Trenton, Camden, and Newark. It's a fucking shit show there.
That's kind of vague though.
Camden's a sanctuary state. Or
Like
sanctuary city.
just saying don't stop them is kind of vague. Like, he didn't get no reasons behind. Like, usually when they have an ROE change, because
I think that's a miss. I think what it is what I'm explaining, Doc. They're no longer telling local law enforcement to do the checks anymore. Because here in Florida, for example, what they were doing is they'll pull you over. They're going to run you if you have anything, like if you're flagged in any way with ICE, they're going to pick you up and they're going to take you in for even a simple speeding ticket or anything when they're stopping you. And that literally, I've known 2 or 3 people, friends of mine, whose family members have been taken and deported and sent back to Venezuela and other South American countries. So that's like a real thing.
And maybe they think, ICE isn't trained in like doing traffic stops, and maybe they want to take that away from them to have, so they don't have to have so many different ways that they're conducting these type of investigations and these type of raids. Maybe that's something they're doing just to protect themselves. I don't know, because I couldn't see that they would run in somebody's name, run a vehicle, know that this is, kind of the job they're doing, and just let them go. That wouldn't make sense. There would be no point to be there.
Well, I think what they're saying is they're not going to have local law enforcement running the checks anymore. That's what I'm taking that to mean. Kimberly, have you heard that? What do you take it to mean?
Have I heard what? I'm sorry, exactly?
About the clip. What he's saying is all of this was for naught because the ICE agents are not going to be, they're not going to be doing detainments in that way. They're only going to be doing it if they're criminals, I believe. They're going to back up off of documented people.
Right. So with the switch from Tom Homan, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to go back to what I said originally, which is they need to pass legislation. They should have done that right away. They might lose majority, and enforce these deportations through law, not through executive order. I do think it'll help them with the midterms to kind of switch up, at least rhetorically, like get the bad ones first. That will help a bit. I've never heard anybody say, no, don't get the bad, rapists or whatever. Please take them. So yeah, I did notice that's why they switched up to Homan, right?
Kimberly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have heard people say, not majority, but I have heard people say, we don't want these I have heard people say we want it done. Yeah. When they show up to court and things like that. Guys have heard them say it on this channel. I'm not gonna say who, that they don't want it to be so aggressive. Doesn't matter if they're criminal or not.
Oh, the aggressiveness. Well, I mean, unfortunately, even criminals have rights. So even if, like, let's say it was a criminal, unless he was committing a crime, should he get shot in the back 5 times? No, but that's the thing with holding principles, is that you have to hold them consistently, even when they're being used against, like, I don't know, chomos and pedos and all that. They unfortunately have rights too, and that's the real test principles.
Well, I think for optics purposes, since we're rolling into the midterms, it makes sense to go after the worst of the worst and ease up on everything else. Because right now the press is bad. Bovino is fired. They're bringing Homan in. It's just a mess. It's a filthy, nasty mess. And, I felt like the government had the upper hand with Renee Good because she was in a vehicle, and we could all get behind vehicles are dangerous. Vehicles have been and currently are being used as weapons of sorts. We've seen it. You know what I mean? But this was very messy, and I just think it makes more sense to go after the worst of the worst first, because you can defend that. You can say, hey, I have this person. Hey, I have that person. Hey, I have this person, and concentrate on the worst of the worst. And then if you find some randoms on the way, deport them too. But I think optics wise, most people can agree with getting out the worst of the worst versus getting out an ordinary individual who's a laborer.
I'll go a little further since we'll find some middle ground. I'm not going to defend the Minnesota leaders either, not Tim Walz, not that lady who started the chat. That's also adding fuel to the fire, borderline illegal. They shouldn't be doing that either. These Democrats are so silly. They just want the show. They want to stick it to Trump. But there's a way to do it, and I think that's probably not the right way to do it.
Speaking of Minnesota, this was 29 minutes ago. Jacob Frey says he will not comply with federal immigration laws. I also made it clear that Minneapolis does not need and will not enforce federal immigration laws, and we remain focused on keeping our neighbors and our safe streets. City leaders will continue to stay in conversations with Mr. Homan and his team. So even by putting Tom Homan there, Mayor Frey is not doing anything. They have 1,600 detainers for illegal immigrants in Minnesota prisons. They released 400 of them onto the streets within the last month. They're not complying with the detainers that they have for these illegal immigrants in their own prisons.
I don't like, so this is also distinction. A lot of this is about, I just want to stick it to Donald Trump, right? I don't like that because it's like a salad bar going on because you don't know who's who. Or is the rebellion to Trump? Is it rebellion on some humanity shit? Is it about people not doing their job well? You know what I'm saying? This has, if it was Kamala Harris, would it look different? You know what I'm saying? Would people move differently if it was a woman in office? You can't. There's no distinction on who is who. And the problem with that is, as an ICE agent, there's no distinction. So you don't know who has a camera in your face.
And this is where we're going to see the battle. This is where we're going to see how much states' rights actually have. I bet we're going to see a lawsuit out of this. I bet it's going to go all the way to the Supreme Court and an emergency ex parte hearing. And I can almost guarantee you the Minneapolis mayor is going to lose. And I hope that's the outcome, because it'll set the precedent that cities and states cannot unilaterally become immigration dissenters, if you will. I mean, I think it would be fantastic if a lawsuit came out of this, if Pam Bondi did something worth a fuck. And a lawsuit came out of this, and they took it to the Supreme Court, and we set a good precedent to show that I understand you have some rights, but at the end of the day, everybody needs to abide by federal law. We all do. You can't just cherry pick what you want to abide by. You're taking that Fed money, baby. You're going to have to abide by the Fed laws. If you don't want that federal money, honey, you don't take it. I feel like that's one of those things where if you're not going to abide by federal laws, like all of the other states and territories, then you don't have a right to take Fed money, period. Point blank, period. That should be the trade-off. That should be the trade-off.
The Democrats don't play to win. The Democrats don't play to win. It's almost intentional.
I agree with that.
Last clip, and then we can all give our closing thoughts. This is regarding the midterms. Someone brought it up, so let's see.
For me, this is heading to a very dark place in America. You've got these ICE agents who, for their own self-protection, because they're getting doxxed, they're getting identified, they're getting targeted and so on. They're wearing masks. They're out there. A lot of them apparently do not have proper crowd control training. They're getting into regular skirmishes now with protesters, which are turning deadly. And I think the American people are increasingly appalled by this, which is why you're seeing Donald Trump reigning back in this particular incident in a way we haven't seen him before. But this is getting tinderbox stuff, isn't it?
Well, first of all, a fabulous Republican economist, I think his name was Herb Sines, said that which can't continue won't. This is not going to continue. By the way, if I were a Republican, I would be reminded of the sign on the entrance of Dante's Inferno, abandon all hope. You're going to get beat so bad in November, you have no idea. The Democrats are going to pick up 6 or 7 Senate seats. And the idea that somebody exercising poor judgment, which I'm sure I do 10 times a day, is the excuse of someone to shoot me is utterly ludicrous. So people make mistakes all the time. They park in no parking zones, they exceed speed limits, they might drink too much. None of this suggests that you ought to be out shooting people. And honestly, what you have there is a bunch of undertrained, not particularly qualified people with badges and guns. And this is going to be the result of it. The American people don't like it overwhelmingly. Stand by, sit still, and get the crap beat out of you, because that's what's going to happen.
All right, guys, we're going to do closing thoughts. Kimberly's going to go first. Kimberly, what's your closing thoughts? What do you predict is going to happen with the midterms with this?
What do I predict with the midterms? I'm not good at predicting stuff. I thought Kamala was going to win this last time, and I thought Trump was going to win the time before that. But with regards to the midterms, I mean, the Democrats are really good at losing. The Republicans just don't have to fuck it up, and they're losing this rhetoric war. Also, I'm really sad that you got me in this like bind where like I agree with James Carville. I freaking hate that guy. And you got me agreeing what he said right there wasn't necessarily wrong. And then just to close, maybe it's just me at my core. I've been talking back to my parents since I was 5. I am at my core against authority for the sake of authority, and we should all be, because government overreach and tyranny leads us to the matrix. And I'll just reiterate, I've probably said this ad nauseum, but it's really important. If the Republicans were serious about getting rid of illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants, illegal labor, which they're not, they would go after the corporations that employ illegal labor, individuals who employ illegal labor. They would go after remittances or pay wires that are transferred through the biggest banks that you know, out of the United States into Mexico and other countries, but they won't, and they're not going to do that because they love illegal labor, and that's why you get these little loopholes for certain industries like hotels and farm workers, because both parties benefit off of it. And also, I condemn all violence on both sides, on the left and on the right. We shouldn't be instigating, we shouldn't be interfering or making a lot of the times, or assuming that all ICE agents or police officers are bad. You can record. It's not illegal to record. It's not illegal to organize, but also we should be wary of who's organizing us. Like, what is the intent of the Democrats? We should be able to think for ourselves and not just what they're feeding us. But yeah, it was a good conversation. Thank you all for having me every day.
Thank you. Ken, what's your closing thoughts? And thank you for coming.
My closing thoughts are: it's a shame that the language we use to other each other, leftist, right, all that. These are the working class in America, and it's the working class versus the working class. And for some reason, the people that run the world are never involved in the skirmish, right? But it's the poor man at the bottom, because the ICE are poor. They get little government benefits and shit, but they are poor. And you have other poor people on the street. And the power is in the people. I'm never, ever going to side with the state or the federal government over the public, even if the public is wrong. Just like we are always guilty and we got to be and prove ourselves innocent, the government is guilty off top. And you got to make yourself innocent, right? I am about class solidarity, because if those people in Minnesota starve, down the line, those ICE agents will starve. They're not going to get picked first either. You know what I'm saying? They're poor. poor people always need to set aside their differences and come together. And it's the job of the poor and the people at the bottom to shape America how they want to see it. Not rich people, not people at the top. And what's boggling my mind, I've never seen this before. I see people siding with billionaires now. I see people siding with the federal government now. I see people siding with the state now over the poor. I don't remember that, right? And it's sad, and it seems it's fear to me, where you look at your poor brother, right, with disdain, and you look at one percenters, billionaires who don't fuck with you, who make laws and legislation against you, who create policies that's against you. And when this shit burns, you burn in it. They don't burn, right? So you come together based on your class, not your gender, not your race, not even your religion, because the rich Christian is going to shit on the poor Christian, and the rich Muslim is going to shit on the poor Muslim. You know what I'm saying? You come together based on your class. That's my closing statement.
All right. Enzo, what's your closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts were this was a good episode. A lot needs to change in this country. Democrats need to be held accountable for the rhetoric that is leading to these situations that are happening. Or at this point, we're not going to have a country anymore. Just point blank, simple as that. All the issues that are going on in this country is explicitly from, right now with immigration is from one party and one party only. Those are the only ones with the rhetoric. I'm all for what ICE is doing. Like I said before, ICE is doing a pretty good job in my eyes. I need them to keep up the good work and get these illegals out. Like I said before, I want to see an investigation into the Pretty situation, just for shits and giggles, to confirm my bias in the situation and let it all end. And people just need to mind their business at the end of the day and stop trying to be white knighting for people that would literally rape and kill you if they fucking had the chance to. So
thank you, Enzo. Mia, what's your closing thoughts?
American citizens have the right to bear arms. American citizens have the right to assembly. And there is overlap there. 36 states allow you to bear arms while at assemblies. I suggest everybody get acquainted with their individual states' rules and laws and regulations. And I will end with, if you don't want to abide by the federal law, then you should not receive any federal dollars, including SNAP, EBT, doesn't matter. You should get absolutely nothing. You should forfeit that. We all live in the United States, and we all have to live under federal law. And I don't want my federal dollars going to people who don't want to abide by the same laws that I am forced to abide by.
That's a good point. Doc, what's your closing thoughts?
This was a great episode. I'm glad for everybody in the chat. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Like and subscribe. A lot of these people on the panel and on our other shows, they make content, and they're well informed. They do a lot of research, so you guys go and follow them. Follow some of the guys that, if you don't agree with Enzo, go follow Enzo. If you don't agree with Kim, go follow Kim, and you'll just get a different side, and that way you'll allow yourself to be compare what you believe and to hear, what the other side believes as well. You guys shouldn't just sit in echo chambers, or you guys shouldn't just hear one side of the story of what's going on in our country. So all of these people on the show, they have a great voice. They're very informed. You guys go and check them out and follow their content.
That was nice. Okay, guys. Shout out to the panel. Thank you to Doc and Ken for coming last minute. We appreciate you. They are on every Monday and Wednesday night on the Man Cave. And if you're watching and you're not already subscribed, you know what to do. So yeah, guys, we're also starting lunch with the new party again. It'll be on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's our lunchtime show. Mondays and Wednesdays, actually Mondays and Fridays. We are also starting our morning show. I'm hosting it. Here's a preview for those of you that have never watched.
Good morning and welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine and I'm the host of Weekend and Weekday Recap, bringing you the stories everyone's talking about and the ones they don't want you to hear. We're breaking down all the latest in politics, culture, and the moments that shape the headlines live at 6 a.m. every Monday and Friday morning. So grab your coffee, wake up your mind, and let's get into it, only here on The New Party.
So yeah, guys, come hang out with me every Monday and Friday. We'll be doing the recap from the weekday and weekend. But guys, so these are my closing thoughts. This is it. I don't think people understood what mass deportation was going to look like for 11 million people. However, I do think some people kind of had an idea, and unfortunately, these things happen. I'm not supporting it. I'm not in agreement with it, but we do need to have accountability, okay? I support, let me be clear, I support deportations, okay? I support people having rights, though, too. And I also support holding ICE accountable. You can support ICE and still believe in limits. Immigration enforcement is part of the law of this country, and many ICE agents do their job professionally, under pressure, and within the rules. Supporting ICE means supporting lawful enforcement, not chaos, not vigilantes, and not unchecked power. But this support does not mean blind loyalty. When force is used, especially deadly force, it must be justified, transparent, and held to the same standards we expect from any law enforcement agency. No badge should place someone above accountability. If an ICE agent acts outside the law or uses unjustified violence, the public has every right to demand a full, independent investigation. That's not being anti-ICE. That's pro-justice and pro-rule of law. Accountability strengthens law enforcement. It builds trust, protects innocent people, and protects good agents from the actions of bad ones. You can believe in borders, enforcement, and public safety, and still insist that power is exercised responsibly, okay? This balance is not weakness. That's what a free society requires, and that's why we have the Constitution. And if you believe in the Constitution, hit that like button and come back. Check us out tomorrow night. God bless, good night, and have a great...
Before we wrap, I want to take a quick moment to talk about how you can support the new party. We are an independent media platform. No corporate backers, no political handlers, just a collection of voices representing all American viewpoints, especially the stories they don't want you talking about.
I'm disgusted with our government, and it doesn't matter which party you're talking about. I'm disgusted.
We are watching an active genocide. I don't know how else to put it. There are thousands of people getting killed every day.
This is the first time in history that an American cardinal has ever been elevated to pope. It is legitimately make America great again.
Yeah.
Like, they're fighting for illegal immigrants, not immigrants. Illegal. Like, and they burning the flag and shit.
Like I always say, it was a great episode. I'm happy with the wins that Donald Trump's.
Like you heard Nora Skeptic say, we're going to keep bringing like different types of content and things that we know people want to see. And like we always show on the New Party, always know.
If you believe Americans can still have civil discourse, even in these polarizing times, we need your help to stay independent and keep growing. You can support us by donating to our GoFundMe page, becoming a channel member, sending a super chat, or grabbing merch from the New Party store. Every donation goes directly toward growing the channel promotion and our upcoming documentary. And as a thank you, donors will receive an exclusive copy of the documentary 1 week before it premieres. Who is the New Party? We're you, your voice, your stories, your America. We can only do this together. So if you're able, please donate and help us get the message out.